Okay, so good evening, all of you. Uh, just a second. Okay, good evening, everyone. So let us begin with the introductory class for today. As you are aware, this is the first lecture for the upcoming batch for the start for the classes which we are going to start from this week for the GATE 2027 batch. And the idea of this introductory class, let me clear in the beginning itself. I'll take you through what all we are going to discuss, what are the points we're going to cover in the session today. But the its session will be approximately around say 45 minutes long for today because it's the introductory class. As you are aware, the classes which we're going to have will be 2 hours every day. The same time it will start 7:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. At this point of time, this is the time we are going to schedule the classes for. Moving ahead, probably around 10 months later, when we are close to the, or say around 8 months later, we might have longer lectures also, like 2.5 or 3 hours long as well. But at this point of time, we are going to have 2 hour long lectures because we have sufficient time for the examination. So in any case, today's session will be a short one. It will not be too long, 2 hours long. It is 45 minutes long today. So let me tell you if you have any doubts. So during the course of the session, if you have any lack of clarity or if something is not clear, if you have any doubt, you can put your queries into the chat. If required, I will also unmute you as well. So to begin first with the overview of the session for today, we will begin by looking into the exam pattern of for any competitive exam preparation, not only GATE architecture, for any competitive exam you prepare. The first thing you need to have an idea is the basics about the exam. What is the overall pattern of the exam? What are we getting into? What all are we going to study? What is the syllabus? So the introductory class focuses on that thing. So the session today is focused on two areas mainly: understanding the exam in general, and secondly we'll focus on the coaching pattern. How are we going to help you, and what is the structure we're going to follow for the preparation, and how to access the resources, what all resources you will be getting. Other than the live online classes, there are a lot of other resources which you will be provided and which you will be using in the course of the preparation. Where to access them, how to access them, I'll also introduce you those pointers too. So we'll talk about the exam pattern first. We'll then have a brief discussion on the past exam result analysis. So to just understand what are we targeting for. So this is mainly to help you understand what's your target. So, okay, GATE is an exam for 100 marks, but how much should you score? So, to help you understand on that, we'll have a brief discussion on the past result analysis. Obviously, because GATE 2026 result 2026 exam is not yet conducted, we will be talking about GATE 2025 result. And then we will be having a discussion on the syllabus, the official syllabus, and then based on the official syllabus, what would be the preparation pattern? How are we going to teach you, and how are we going to make you so provide you the resources to prepare for the upcoming GATE exam? And finally, we will be having conclusion with the question and answer. If you have any queries, you can ask me. So that's the pattern we are going to plan for. So approximately 45 minutes to 1 hour. That's the tentative plan we're going to have. So first, beginning with the exam pattern. I'm sure most of you know some of these points, but still we'll go through these because in the introductory class it is important that you have clarity on these points. So to first begin, the exam is 3 hours long, and this will be a computer based test which is basically so you're not allowed to carry anything into the examination. It will be a computer based examination, and the calculator also will be provided in the computer itself. It will be an on screen calculator. You're not allowed to, because I'm sure you know in the GATE exam you have a lot of numericals. Now, one misconception generally architecture graduates or architecture or students in the field of architecture tend to have is numericals is generally linked with structures. That's how generally the college curriculum mostly is. But in the GATE examination, it's not that way. Structures is is only one topic, and it's a minor area in the numericals. There are many other numerical areas. In the GATE examination, you have numerical answer type questions from subjects like lighting, acoustics also. So even project management, estimation, you have housing, landscape, you have numericals in all these subjects. So the computer based test with the non-screen calculator you will be having with the for the numericals. It's a 3 hour examination. And the total number of questions you need to answer in the examination will be 65. In 3 hours, you need to answer 65 questions. So that will give you an average time of more than 2.5 minutes per question. So it's not, the timer is not provided question wise. It's just 3 hours overall. You can spend any amount of time on any question. You can spend 1 hour on one question also if you feel. And you can use only 10 seconds on one question also. So that's flexible, but you'll need to answer a total of 65 questions in 3 hours. And these 65 questions will give you a total weightage of 100 marks. So that's the overall exam pattern as a big picture. Now moving towards the details of the sections, I'm sure you know the GATE pattern was updated in the year 2022. So you're preparing for 2027, so it's like 5 years ago. The exam pattern was updated. Generally, the GATE syllabus is updated every 15 years once, 10 to 15 years. So because the last time syllabus was updated is in the year 2021, no change in the official syllabus or pattern is expected very soon. At least for the next 5 years, we are going to expect the same pattern and the same syllabus. I was telling you that the exam basically will be having 4 sections: general aptitude, part A, B1 and B2. So basically when you now we are very far away from the exam, but still when you go to the examination on the computer screen, you will be having 4 tabs. You will have the tab for general aptitude, then the common part, architecture part, planning part. So this basically part A is the common part. Part B1 is called as the architecture part. Even the official syllabus is divided into these parts. You have general aptitude, common part, which is basically to just understand, common part is something which has both architecture and planning topics. Because you know, GATE architecture is not just for architecture graduates, it's for planning graduates also. So you have the subjects of both architecture and planning curriculum in the course. So in the common part, you have both architecture and planning topics. In B1 architecture part, you have only architecture core topics. In B2, you have core planning topics only. So when you go to the examination, you will have these 4 sections: general aptitude, then part A, that is common part, B1 that is architecture part, B2 is planning part. Of these 4 tabs, you have to, so whichever, so basically even if you're architecture graduate or planning graduate, I assume all of you are architecture graduates in the class, but even if someone is from planning background too, the exam paper will be same. So general aptitude part is something which is mandatory for everyone. So let us talk about each of these sections. So general aptitude, that's the first part. This is something which has 10 questions in it. Uh, I'm sure you probably you know this. In the GATE exam, you have 2 types of questions. You have 1 mark questions and 2 marks questions. There are 1 mark questions also and 2 mark questions also in the paper. Generally, 1 mark questions are easier compared to 2 mark questions. 2 marks questions are a bit lengthy. Even though in the 1 mark questions also you can have numericals, you can have theoretical questions. We'll talk about the question types also in the GATE examination in a while. But 2 marks questions in general are difficult and lengthy comparatively. So in the general aptitude part, you have 10 questions, of which 5 questions will be for 1 mark, 5 questions will be for 2 marks. So basically, it's like 5 questions of 1 mark will be 5 marks weightage, 5 questions of 2 marks will be 10 marks weightage. The total weightage of the general aptitude part, basically out of 10 questions, the total weightage will be 15 marks. Now these 15 marks are fixed for everyone, whoever is attempting the paper. That first section, 15 marks is compulsory. Now other than that, common part also is compulsory for everyone. Common part by far is the most important part in the GATE paper. When you're writing the GATE examination, to score well, to top the examination, it is crucial that you do very well in the common part, because this has the maximum weightage. This is the most important area also, because it has the maximum weightage and maximum number of questions. The common part has a total of 39 questions. Of these 39 questions, the total weightage will be 60 marks. Now these 39 questions will be a combination of 1 mark and 2 mark questions both. There will be some 1 mark questions and some 2 marks questions. And within 1 mark questions also you'll have theory and numerical questions. Even 2 marks questions also you'll have theory and numerical questions both. In the GATE exam, the number of numericals is not fixed. It changes every year. Last year that so at this point of time, because gate 2026 is not yet conducted, in gate 2025 the number of numerical questions was much higher than 2024. So the number of questions vary every year. It can be larger, higher in number also, like in 2025 paper. So the total weightage will be 60 marks for the common part, which is mandatory for all. Now this B1, so we have B1 and B2 because this is part B where you have an option. You can either select B1 or you can select B2. So from these two portions, you have to attempt only any one. You cannot attempt both the parts. How do they ensure that you attempt only one part? Basically, when you look into the question paper on the screen, in B1 and B2, you will have a radio button here. There will be a selection option here in the tab itself. So if you want to attempt architecture part, let us say, you have to select this question paper. You need to make a selection here. So if you select B1 here, you'll get the questions of B1. If you select B2, you'll get the questions of B2. You cannot attempt both because at one point of time you can only look into either B1 or B2. You cannot select both the options. That's not possible at all. So, and moreover, this selection is something which you make during the exam. So when you apply for the GATE exam, in the application form, they will not ask you which part you will be attempting, B1 or B2 architecture plan. This selection is made during the exam. So we strongly recommend students to be prepared for both the parts because you never know which part will be easy. At least till now, so this pattern change was introduced in 2022. So from 2022 till now, generally the standard or the level difficulty level has been same for architecture and planning part every year. If the architecture part is very tough in some given year, planning part questions also have been tough. Generally that has been the trend. However, because feeling something is easy or difficult is something very subjective. It varies from person to person, right? So you should be prepared so that you can make a selection during the exam whichever you think. So basically the good thing is you can have a look at both the question papers. You can select B1 first, see all the questions, and then open B2, see all the questions, and then you can decide which one to start attempting. That option is there. So you need not worry while applying, they'll not ask you. So this is a selection which you can make later on. Now, one thing, this selection will have an implication on your admissions later on in IITs. I'll talk about that towards the end. If I forget, please remind me. What is the implication of architecture and planning part when you do M-Plan or MArch later on for admissions? Because that's not crucial at the introduction, but still I will tell you about it. But be it architecture or planning part, whichever part you select, any one you have to select, the total number of questions will be 16 questions. In architecture part also there will be 16 questions, planning also 16 questions, and these 16 questions will have a total weightage of 25 marks, and that's also fixed, the weightage of each of these sections. So you can see the total, it is 15 plus 60 plus 25, the total is 100 marks. Number of questions, 10 questions here, 39 questions here, and 16 questions here. Total will be 65 questions. You have to attempt 65. So in the question paper, you will have 81 questions because there are 16 questions of architecture and 16 questions of planning also. You have to select any one. Ultimately, you will need to attempt only 65 questions in 3 hours. So that's about the pattern overall. Now, as I told you, there will be both 1 mark and 2 mark questions. And I told you that there are numerical and theoretical questions both. So let us have an understanding on the question typology as well. That's also important because based on the question type, some people are good in multiple choice questions, some people are good in numerical answer type questions. It's better to have an understanding in the beginning itself. Let me tell you about the questions. So both 1 mark and 2 mark questions can be of 3 types. There are 3 types of questions in the GATE paper. One is multiple choice questions, which are MCQs. Multiple choice questions are those questions where you have 4 options A, B, C, D, and you have to select any one option. Only one option is correct among the 4. So there will be 4 options, option A, option B, C, and D. Of these 4, any one option only will be correct. And in multiple, this is the only type of question where you have negative marking in the GATE paper. So these can be both 1 mark or 2 marks. So if it is a 1 mark question, and if you do a mistake, let us say the correct answer is A, you have selected D, you will lose 1/3 of the mark. So if it is a 1 mark question, you will lose -1/3. So let me write it in points. 1 by third marks is basically 0.33 marks you will lose. If it is a 2 marks question and you do a mistake in it, the negative marking will be double, 0.67. So 1/3 of the weightage. 1/3 mark here, 2/3 mark here is the negative marking which you will have. So in multiple choice questions, in short, there will be 1 by third of negative marking. This is mainly introduced to avoid guesswork because there are four options. If you take a random guess, the probability of that being correct is 25%. I'm sure you know basic probability. One out of four options. Even if you take a random guess, there's a chance that it becomes correct. To avoid such guesswork in the examination, they've introduced this negative marking of 1/3 weightage. So if you don't know the answer, if you're not taking any guesswork and if you're leaving the question, you'll not get negative mark, you'll just get 0. But if you select an incorrect option, you will have a negative marking of 1/3 mark. That's how it works. That's MCQ. Only this question, only these type of questions will have negative marking. So that's something you can keep in your mind in the beginning itself. Next, the second type of question is multiple select question, MSQ. Here also you will be having four options, A, B, C, D. It will be mentioned in the gate paper. When you look into the question at one time, only one question will be visible on the questions on the computer screen. So when a question is given, it will be mentioned what type of question it is. Moreover, in multiple choice questions, the options A, B, C, D are given with the circular radio button. So any one option you can select. In multiple select questions, you will have square boxes. You can, because it's like a checkbox, you can check in multiple options also. So that's how it works. So visually also the interface is very clear, you need not worry. Because many students have this doubt also, they feel okay, how to decide if something is multiple select or multiple choice. That will be written in the question, you need not worry. So multiple select question has four options, and in this type of question, any one answer can also be correct, only one out of all the four, or two options can be correct, or three options can be correct, or all the four options can also be correct. So all these are possibilities. Now because it is very, so here it's not 25% chance, right? Because one option can be correct, two can be correct, three. So the probability of getting a correct answer with random guess is very less, because of which there is no negative marking in this question. In this type of question, there is no negative marking. And there is no partial marking also. Partial marking as in, if the correct answer is, let us say A, B, C, D, all the four are correct, and you selected only two, A and B, you'll not get half mark. You will get 0 even in that case. So to get the weight, so this also can be 1 mark or 2 mark. Multiple choice also can be 1 mark or 2 mark. Multiple select also can be 1 mark or 2 mark. So whatever the weightage is, you will get the marks only if you select all the correct options. Even if you select one incorrect option, you will lose your marks. There is no negative marking, you will just guess 0 in such questions. So that's about multiple select question. The last and the third type of question, and the most important, I'm saying that this is important because this has been the crucial area to score well and get a good rank in the exam, because this is a conceptual area where if you have sufficient preparation with the strong foundation of the numerical concepts, you can do well in the exam. You can boost up your score very easily in this part, because theoretical part there is no boundary. I'm sure you know architecture, the subject itself is in such a way that it is very vast, and in the gate paper, IITs do take care that they give you random questions from any new topic also every year. So theoretical part, there's no boundary. But numerical part is something where you can have a strong foundation, and it is easy to score also if you have worked on that particular area. In any case, this type of question, numerical answer type question also, it can be 1 mark questions, 2 mark questions. There can be 1 mark numericals, 2 mark numericals also. As far as NAT questions are considered, there are no options provided in this type. There are no options at all. You'll just have a question and you will have an input box. An input box will be given. In this input box, they will give you input on screen keyboard also to put in your answer. Now in this input box, you cannot write any letters. You cannot use any punctuation also. Into this input box, you can only punch in numbers and a decimal point. So 0, 1, 2, 3, so on till 9, those digits with decimal point, because answers can be, so answer in the NAT question can be anything, any number, even it's not necessarily an integer. It can be decimal values. So answer can be like 0.75. So you need to type in that 0.75 into the box. So for that you will have digits and decimal point, and sometimes the answer can be negative numbers also, negative integers too. So it's like the answer can be -10 or -100. Answers can be -5082, something like that. So any positive or negative decimal values also. So you have point, minus, and the numbers 0 to 9. Those values, using that you need to type in something into the box. Here also it is very difficult to take a random guess, because of that there is no negative marking in this also. So ultimately in the gate paper you have negative marking only in the multiple choice questions, not in the other types. So that's about the question types. I hope by now you have a broad idea on the exam pattern and what to expect in this exam. We will not keep on discussing this thing each time and again, because once we are done with this introductory class, our focus will shift on to understanding the subjects. We'll have a subject wise study, topic wise study, and the focus will be on the concepts of every subject. So we might have a discussion of this later on when we talk about exam strategy and on towards the end after the preparation. But for now, these basic things you can keep in your mind so that you can remember, have a basic idea of it later on. However, you'll get better understanding of all these points when you practice the mock tests and all before the examination. So that's about it. One thing, just not an important point, but just as a key add-on, you can remember this general aptitude part, the 10 questions. If you look into the last paper, past papers, only multiple choice questions have been asked in the general aptitude. So you don't have MSQ or in, that doesn't, numericals are asked in general aptitude, but numericals also are given options. So in general aptitude, always only multiple choice questions have been asked in the past. But as per the official GATE brochure, it is clearly mentioned in the GATE brochure every year that any type of question can be asked in any part and any number of questions. So NAT, so the number of numerical NAT type questions, number of MSQ questions, nothing is fixed. In some papers this can be very huge. So in some papers there are less numericals also. So that's possible. And it can be asked in any part, 1 mark, 2 mark, any section. So that is something you can remember. So there's a level of flexibility in the paper. Now to understand what we are getting, what to target. So let us set a target also, like what should we be prepared for, or what are we going to target for in this examination. Firstly, the cutoff. If I tell you, so this is the cutoff for last 6 years. We don't have the 2026 exam result yet. So 2025 the cutoff was 40 marks. 2024 the cutoff was 41.5 marks, which has been the highest cutoff in last 6 years. In fact, last 10 years also, this is the highest cutoff, 41.5 marks out of 100. All these are 100 marks papers. So 2023 the cutoff was 33.7, which has been the lowest. So you can see the range. Basically the minimum cutoff as per the past pattern has been 33.5. Maximum cutoff has been 41.5. Other than that, the cutoff was 37 in 37.3 in 2022, 40.9 in 21, and 2020 it was 34.8. Now, is it sufficient to just have a passing? So only if you cross this cutoff, and remember these are the cutoffs for the general category, for the open category. If you have any reserved, if you're from any reserved category like OBC or SC or ST, the cutoff will be slightly lower. This is the open category cutoff. However, only if you cross this cutoff you will get the scorecard. Otherwise you will not be given a rank and a scorecard through which you can take admission, or you can get into PSU. So I hope you know, in GATE, through GATE exam, through the scorecard, you can either take your admission into masters in IITs, NITs and many other colleges, and you will be eligible for the stipend in your masters. I'm sure you know this also. When you do your masters, be it architecture or planning or any interdisciplinary course or MTech, you can get into some MTech courses also. So whichever course you select, you will get stipend from the government of 12,400 at this point of time. Now there are demands to increase that. Now that's a different story altogether, but at this point of time the stipend is 12,400 every month. Stipend is given only to those who qualify and get a valid GATE scorecard to cross this cutoff. Even in SPAs also, if you take your admission, I'm sure you know, in SPA they have their own selection process. They have a weightage for GATE score, but some students are taken even without GATE score if you have a very good portfolio and very good project base and work experience. But Even for those students who are taking direct admission, the stipend is provided only if you have a valid cutoff, or only if you get a valid scorecard. So that's the importance of cutoff. Other than that, for admission directly, just qualifying is not sufficient. You should be among the toppers. So let us try to understand the difficulty level in general. 2025 again. Generally, gate paper anywhere between 8,500 to 10,000 students write the examination. So you can say on an average around 10,000 students write the exam. In 2025, 8,500 candidates appeared for the examination. I'm not talking about the applicants. These are the candidates who appeared. Applicants is more than 10,000 generally. And the candidates who qualified is only 2,800. So it's like 33% of this, one third of the students qualified the paper. This qualifying percentage many times is much lower also. Like in 2024, the qualifying percent was 24% or 25%, only one fourth of this. In 2025, one out of every three students qualified, two did not qualify. So in any case, the qualifying percentage is much lower than the overall candidates. Not even half of the candidates qualify. So it is considered to be a difficult paper at that point to just qualify. But you have to be among toppers. So if you look at the marks distribution, this is again for 2025. If you look into the number of candidates and the distribution, all these data points are provided after the gate result. So if you analyze the gate result, this information is for 2025 gate architecture and planning. I'm not talking about other subjects. For architecture, only one candidate got 80 plus marks, more than 80 marks, and that was Jayant, who was our student who got the first rank in 2025 paper. He scored 83 marks. In fact, I remember, so when, now this is not related to the subject directly, but just because I was talking about this 80 plus mark, it came to my mind. When Jayant got his first rank, when he was talking to me, he did talk about this point. So generally I say, in gate architecture paper, no one till date has scored more than 85. So he told me that his target was to get more than 85 marks, because he remembered in the first introductory class I was telling that no one scores more than 85 marks generally. So you can also target for something like that. In any case, he scored 83 marks, only one candidate. So generally 80 plus is very rare in the gate paper. Even when I got my first rank, my weightage, my marks was 79.67. So it was less than 80 even when I go, 79.67, so zero point 0.3 less than 80 marks. But then, unlike other engineering papers, in engineering papers like mechanical engineering and all, the first rankers generally get 98 or something like 96. But in gate architecture, that's not the case. There is a reason also for that, because gate architecture paper, the boundary of the theoretical part, even numerical part, that is very vague. And just to give you an example, in the recent papers, there was one question related, numerical for 2 marks, was asked related to Stephen Boltzmann law. Now, never in the history of gate architecture something even remotely related to Stephen Boltzmann law was asked in the paper. Moreover, leave that aside, leave the past papers aside. Even in the official syllabus, if you see the topics mentioned, you don't have, even though thermal comfort is a topic in architecture, but Stephen Boltzmann law does not have a significant link directly to the subject of architecture, but still they ask such numericals. So there's no boundary literally. They can ask you questions from anything, even if it is remotely, even if it has a minutest link with architecture and planning, that can be asked into the paper. They'll not see if that is written in the syllabus or not. So I'm not scaring you, but the weight, so it's not very difficult to score the first rank also in the gate paper, because even if you're scoring 80% or slightly more than that, you will be amongst the toppers. That said, 70 plus, there were only 13 candidates who got 70 plus in 2025 paper. So even if someone got 70 marks also, they are amongst top 15 ranks, 13 ranks in fact, to be specific. So it's 60 to 69, they were around 70. You see, as you go lower, the concentration increases. So 60 to 69, in those 9 marks, there were 80 candidates. Next, in these 20 marks, 40 to 59, in that range, you have more than 1800 candidates. So that's the distribution. So your target, basically, should be to cross that threshold where you're having concentration of candidates. A lot of candidates are up to 50 marks, because see, any paper, any gate paper, any year, even in 2027 paper when you write, remember, there will be easy questions, there will be difficult questions, there will be moderate questions, irrespective of the paper. So let us say everyone feels the paper is very difficult. Irrespective of how difficult is it, there will be some easy questions. So there will be a concentration of students at a particular level. Your focus should be on crossing that threshold. If you are able to do that, you will easily get into a double digit rank. And to get a good college, if you want to get any, some of the difficult ones to get into would be MArch at IIT Roorkee, or say construction management in IITs like IIT Delhi or IIT Chennai. Other than that, geoinformatics in IIT Bombay. So these are some difficult courses to get into. If you want to get into such top IITs with top courses with good placement, you should ideally have a rank below 2025. So like I've done my master's from construction management in IIT Delhi. The closing rank in IIT Delhi for construction management is generally 2025, below 20 rank. IIT Madras also it is the same. Jayant went into IIT Madras for construction management. So you have to be among 70 plus for top colleges. 60 plus also will give you good options of IITs, but that is for 2025 paper. Now if the exam paper is easier, the score you should target for should be even more higher. So to give you a ballpark, on an average you should target for around 75 plus. Even if you're getting 70 marks also, in general you will get a decent rank, a good rank in fact. So that's what you need to, now see, it's not very difficult as such. 75 out of 100 is a doable score, but with right efforts in the right direction. And it's good that you people have started it earlier. That's very crucial, because the amount of syllabus to cover is fixed. That content, if you start early, you can spread it over a wider time with slow and steady efforts. You can do it. If you're starting it late, you have to cover the same thing. We teach the same 300 hours for someone who is joining for last 5 months also. But that will be more stressful and concentrated, and that would be difficult to do also. So it's very good that you have started early. That's very crucial. So this is the target you need to work for. Don't just go by the cutoff. By cutoff, it's not something very difficult to cross the cutoff. You should target for the top. So that's about the result, past result and the cutoff thing. Let us now try to understand the subjects, the syllabus part. You have the official syllabus. Now I'll not take you through point by point, but I'll just broadly explain you. But before I tell you the subjects also, you can remember in simple terms that the GATE architecture and planning paper has everything you study in your 5 years of architecture curriculum, 4 years of B plan curriculum. Everything is compiled into this GATE architecture and planning syllabus. So if you take the example of architecture graduates, in if you're from BArch background, in your first year you might study some simple subjects like architectural design, design principles. That's a part of the syllabus too. And if you have done your BArch in the last year, in the 5th year, you study some advanced subjects like project management, critical path method, PERT, or say professional practice. These are also part of the syllabus. Contract management, construction finance, project management, and also estimation, valuation, professional practice. All these are in the syllabus. So everything from first year to the last year is a part of the syllabus. And also for planning as well. If you're from planning background, you have basics of planning, planning theories and all which you study, concentric zone model or physical planning, basic aspects of that. Then you have advanced topics like transportation modeling, simulation. Even that is in the syllabus. So everything of BArch and B plan curriculum is a part of the syllabus. The only thing is, advanced architecture topics are in the architecture part, advanced planning topics are in the planning part. Basics of both the subjects are in the common part. That's the broad understanding. As far as general aptitude is considered, as I told you, general aptitude, if you remember, you have 10 questions, not 10 marks, 10 questions with 15 marks of weightage. This has 4 topics. You have verbal ability, which is basic English, which covers basic English, in English grammar, English comprehension, English phrases, English meanings, basically synonyms, antonyms. Everything is in the verbal aptitude. Quantitative aptitude, also include all these topics included. You will have 10 questions. So it's like one or two questions from verbal ability, one or two questions from quant, one or two questions from analytical aptitude, and one or two questions from spatial aptitude will be asked in the exam. So quantitative aptitude is something where you have basic math, which includes all the topics of data interpretation, understanding various types of graph, be it pie chart, bar graph, everything. And then you have numerical computation, including computation of ratio, percentages, time and work, exponents, logarithm, permutation, combination is an important topic. So all these basic math up to 10th standard level, you can say. You don't have integration, differentiation and so on, but basic math is included in this quant part. These two topics, analytical and spatial aptitude, were introduced in 2021 paper only. Before that, only these two parts were a part of the. There were around five questions of verbal ability, five questions of quant, till 2020 paper. From 2021, new syllabus was introduced, so they started giving questions from analytical aptitude and spatial aptitude also. Analytical aptitude covers analogy and numerical relations and reasoning basically. So analogy as in the relation, they'll give you two pairs of words, the same relation you should apply to some other pair. Then deducting, so reading a paragraph and deduction of logic from that. So that is included in analytical aptitude. Then finally you have spatial aptitude, and if you're, I assume because architects are from creative background, generally architects do very well in the spatial aptitude. Here you have basic mirror images, water images, transformation of shape, translation, rotation, scaling, mirroring. So those topics are asked in the spatial aptitude, which are more of diagrammatic reasoning. Figure-based questions are asked in this part. So all these included, you will have 10 questions for 15 marks. Let me tell you, this I personally feel is the very important thing from scoring well in the examination. So anyone who has done very well in the GATE exam, they has, from our past students also, they have done always very well in the general aptitude part. Even from my personal experience, I can tell you, I've written GATE examination twice in my life. First attempt, I've got All India rank 24. And the major reason I could achieve a good rank then was because I got 15 on 15 in the general aptitude. The second attempt I got first rank, and that also, even that year I got 15 out of 15 in the general aptitude. Both my attempts I could get a good rank mainly because I scored 15 on 15 in both the papers. So it's very important. Even the same applies to many toppers of our students also. And ideally you should target for 12 plus, not 15 on 15 as such, because there will be some aspect of luck also over there, because it is possible that the paper will be difficult, particularly quant. At least one or two tricky questions they will ask in the general aptitude part. 70% of the questions will be simple and straightforward, even with zero preparation. Right now, if you open the last year's GATE paper and solve the general aptitude 10 questions, I'm 100% sure you will do correct. You'll get a correct answer at least in 4 or 5 questions with zero preparation. Now, with preparation, you can easily take it to 7 or 8. So you should ideally target for 12 plus in the general aptitude for sure. That will give you a major boost for your score and the rank in the GATE paper. Now moving on to the core topics, like because general aptitude is 15 marks, the core topics will have a total weightage of 85 marks. So basically the general aptitude part is same for all the people, not only architecture, even mechanical engineering, civil engineering, any GATE paper. The general aptitude part syllabus and the level of question is same for everyone. In fact, like for example, let us say GATE architecture is scheduled on the first Saturday of February. This time it is in the second Sunday of February. This time it is. Last time it was first Saturday itself. So it changes every year. So let us say on first Saturday in the morning, GATE architecture is scheduled. Along with architecture, whoever other branches are attempting GATE on that slot will get the same question paper of general aptitude. So general aptitude is a common paper for all the specializations. Whoever is attempting GATE paper in a given slot will get the same 10 questions, same general aptitude. In any case, the core topics, you will have 85 marks of weightage, which are subdivided into 60 marks of common part and 25 marks of either B1 or B2 based on your selection. So in the syllabus, the common part, there are 7 sections. Like I told you, it covers basics of architecture and planning both. So section 1, architecture, planning and design, which focuses mainly on principles of design. architectural standards. So those topics are covered in section 1, orthographic projections, perspective, basic terminology of architectural design. So that is included in section 1. Section 2 is construction management. This second section covers the topics of two major topics which are very important from numerical point of view. One is estimation valuation, second is construction management. Let me tell you, in last 10 years, you'll not even find one single gate paper where you don't have a numerical from construction management. It's a very important topic. Even estimation also same thing. Every year, at least, I'm telling at least because there can be more than one numericals also sometimes. At least one numerical from construction management, at least one numerical from estimation valuation. Both are in the same section. So section 2 is very important from numerical point of view, particularly in the gate paper. So that's construction management. Section 3 is environmental planning and design, which focuses on climate responsive design, ecosystem, sustainability, sustainable development goals, sustainable building practices and building rating. All that is included in section 3. Section 4 is landscape architecture, urban design and also conservation. So these first 4 sections are predominantly focused on architecture topics, but then environmental planning is a planning subject also, because environmental impact assessment, all that is planning topic. That is also included in the third section. Section 5 is now planning oriented subject, which is planning process, where you have basic planning theories, planning principles, basics of URDPFI guidelines and so on. So that is included here. Section 7, it is important from both theoretical and numerical. Again, this is a numerical focused area, housing, where you have built up area calculations, FAR calculations, housing density calculations, housing shortage calculations. So all these are numerical. Real estate valuation as in the valuation of property. So all those topics are included in section 6. Section 2 and 6 are important from numerical point of view. So that's housing. Then last and final 7th section focuses on services and infrastructure. Excuse me. So services and infrastructure covers topics like water supply, sewage treatment, solid waste management, transportation, basics of transportation, all that is included, fire safety, that is included in the 7th section, that is services and infrastructure. So that's about the common part. As far as the architecture part is considered, the first section is history and contemporary architecture, where you have architects and the works and all the historic Indian and Western history of architecture. Then the second section is building construction and structural systems, where you have building materials, building construction and structural calculations, basically involving topics like shear force diagram, bending moment diagram, shear stress, bending stress, truss analysis. All that is included. Even the IS code, IS 456, all that is included in this section. Then section B 1.3 is related to building services and sustainability. Building services mainly focused on water supply of buildings, water supply in buildings, and also you have topics like lighting, basically visual comfort, thermal comfort in buildings, acoustical comfort. So lighting, acoustics, climatology or thermal calculations, even topics like HVAC, air conditioning systems, all that is included in this third section. So those are the architecture subjects. Similarly, in part B2, you have planning oriented subjects, where you have regional and settlement planning. Now, basics of planning are already covered in planning process, but advanced topics of planning and guidelines of planning are covered in this section. Then you have planning technique management, which is a major topic which is important for people who are selecting part B2, which includes topics like GIS, survey, types of survey and sampling in survey, and also planning legislation, the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Acts, other planning legislation and rules applicable. All that is covered in planning technique management, including land economics and urban economics. All that is included in this section. Then finally, you have infrastructure planning, which focuses on only one type of infrastructure particularly, because the basics like water supply, sewage treatment is included in the common part. Here you have only advanced transportation, transport modeling and transportation is included in the infrastructure planning, including parking study and parking analysis. So that's a broad overview of the subjects. I'm sure you might feel overwhelmed by when you look at the syllabus in a huge say compiling everything. Need not worry. I just gave you an overview. Whenever the faculty, including me, whenever we teach a particular subject, we will introduce that subject to you. Like for example, if I am going to teach you construction management, I'll introduce that subject, tell about its weightage and its relevance in GATE exam, what are the topics we'll cover in that. Everything will be given as an introduction in the first class of every subject. That you need not worry. Now, one thing which is you can say, you can consider it as an issue in the GATE syllabus, that is, if you look into the official GATE syllabus, so they give you details of every subject again, every section, details are written. So if you see, for example, in section 7, services and infrastructure, water supply is mentioned here. The same subject of water supply is again mentioned in this section also. Same water supply is mentioned once again. Similarly, transportation and basics of transportation are included here, and the advanced topics of transportation, same subject of transportation, it is mentioned here, half of it is here. So it is not, it will create a lot of confusion if you break subjects and study multiple times. So what we, and it has been proven to be a very wise approach based on a past experience for our students in terms of success also. And so because of that, we don't break subjects. So instead of following this section wise approach, we have a subject wise approach. So if you take a subject of water supply, even though some part is here, some of it is here, we study water supply together in a single go. Similarly, transportation, even though some part is here, some part is here, we'll study everything together in a single go. Faculty will guide you as to what are the advanced topics which fall under common in the B2, and what part is in the common part. That guidance will be provided wherever possible, but we follow a subject wise approach for better efficiency. So this sheet will be shared with you. I hope it is already shared, I think. So and you all are enrolled into a WhatsApp group as well, so you people can talk among yourselves also. That WhatsApp group which you are added into, that after enrolling, once you enroll, you will be added into the WhatsApp group. You'll get the class link every day in the WhatsApp group. You'll get the schedule of classes also in the WhatsApp group, and you can talk among yourselves also in the WhatsApp group. If you have any doubt, if you have any difficult question, you can share among yourselves and discuss also in the preparation for the next 1 year. uh, Generally faculty or we people will not be responding to anything in that group. It is for your benefit, for your student. You'll just get the class link and schedule over there from our end. Other than that, you have a separate faculty doubts number. So there's a dedicated helpline WhatsApp number for your doubts, where all the faculty will be accessing it and responding to the relevant doubts there. In any case, coming back to the subject, so this sheet must have been shared with you already. We follow subject-wise approach. So by based on the analysis of last 35 years of GATE paper, based on detailed analysis of the official syllabus, we have uh, decentralized or basically broken down the overall syllabus, structured it into 24 individual subjects. So if you cover these 24 subjects, 100% of the syllabus will be done. Some of these subjects are overlapping into common part and B2 or B1 or B2 also. Some of them are purely in common part itself. So that is also marked in the sheet which is shared with you. So we will be having classes subject by subject, not in any particular sequence. So these 24 subjects are not interrelated. You can study them in any sequence, but by the end of your course, all the 24 topics will be done. So I hope you got your schedule. The next class, I think you will be starting with the subject of landscape, which is mentioned over here in number 13. So first you will be done with this subject, then the next subject will start, so on. So for all the 24 subjects, classes will be conducted for you. Let us talk about the preparation pattern now very quickly. We are almost now towards the target time. So let me also tell you about the preparation pattern. What are we going to follow? What are the steps you need to follow in the preparation? The first step is always the live online class. I'll tell you how to access the recorded lectures. All the live online classes will be available with the recorded backup. So if you, by any chance, if you miss a lecture due to some personal engagement, you can recheck that lecture later on from the recorded backup. But we strongly recommend you to attend live classes as much as possible, because you can get better clarity, you can make your running notes. It's always best that you attend the live online class, because your doubts also will be clarified then and there. Don't rely only on recorded lectures. This is just for your reference. Like if you feel some subject is difficult, someday you missed a class, or if you want to revise a subject, you can rely on the backup, recorded backup. So that's the primary resource you should rely on in your preparation for the next 1 year. Your first focus should be on the live online class, because the faculty will be guiding you, and all the faculty themselves, not only me, are all IIT graduates and toppers in GATE themselves. So they for sure will guide you, and they are experts already in the subject they teach. So you can blindly follow on the based on the guidelines of what they are going to take you through in the live online class. That should be a primary target. Second step, once you're done with the class, you will be provided with a practice sheet, a homework sheet. I'll tell you where to access all these resources. So you'll have practice sheets, which basically is like a homework. So you might get a practice sheet after every class, or sometimes it will be one practice sheet for all the or for the whole subject itself. After every 2 or 3 classes you will get. So based on the requirement, the faculty will be sharing you the practice sheet. So after the live online class, you need to solve those questions in the homework sheet. Basically, you'll gain the knowledge. This is the application part. What you have learned, based on that, it will be a revision and application for you in the questions. If you have any doubt and any question, you can discuss among yourselves. You can discuss with the faculty on the faculty doubts number also. We will always be available to guide you through in this process of preparation. So you'll have practice sheets. For every subject, you'll get those practice sheets and homework sheets. That's the second step. Then the third step is the study material. If you have opted for the printed study material, the books, a set of 11 books along with the in cards that will be delivered to you, 10 or 11 books, I think. So those you can every 100% of the syllabus, every subject is covered in the study material set. Faculty will be guiding you through the study material also, what to study, what is not important, what is important. Even the study material itself is structured in a way that all the important points are in bullet points, key concepts are put into boxes. So it is already structured in such a way that you will understand what to focus on in the study material. So that is number 3. So a subject, once you're done, do the homework sheet, read the study material, read that chapter from the study material. These 3 are the crucial steps. Then comes the practice. You have test series. In the test series, every subject you will have subject wise tests. So at this point of time, you should focus on the subject wise tests. Every subject, there are multiple tests you have. So once you're done with the subject, attend the test of that. So that will give you better practice again. So practice is crucial for GATE examination. So the test series has thousands of questions. So you can solve those practice questions after every subject. You'll also have mocks. You will also have some past papers. All these are also available in the test series. These mocks and past papers, you can do it later on after 4 or 5 months later. So at this point of time, your focus should be on the subject wise test. So you need to practice. So once you're done with this, if you have any doubts, so that's you can have your discussion, you can clarify all your doubts and also do your revision whenever you can. So with this, you can consider one subject done. The same cycle again start for the next subject. So like you're having landscape, you should pass through these 5 steps of study for the subject of landscape. So the same 5-step approach, you should do it for all the 24 subjects. So that's when your preparation will be completed. Now it will take time. You see how exhaustive it can be. So it's a right decision that you started your preparation right now, because anyone, even if they're starting the preparation for last 5 months, they have to go through the same intensive preparation for a good for a good score in the examination. So that's about the preparation pattern. Let me talk about the access, how to access all these resources. Let me tell you. So study material either could be online or it could be delivered to you. The books could be delivered if you have opted for that. Other than that, majority of the resources you can access them on the mobile app itself. Mobile app is very handy and you can access all these resources, including the recorded lectures, the practice sheets, the study material in digital format, the test series. All these you can access on the mobile app 24/7 easily. And you can also access it on the computer as well. On the computer, except for practice sheets, remaining everything is accessible on the computer as well. For practice sheets, for the homework sheets, that is accessible only on the app, because once the faculty shares, it is updated on the app. For the recorded lectures, the test series, the simulated test series, mock test, everything is available on the computer also, laptop or computer as well. Remain the practice sheets and all these resources are accessible on the mobile app and phone. You can also install your mobile app in the tab as well, be it iPad or any Android tab. You can access all the resources easily. So this is how the resources will be. So let me take you very briefly through the steps, how the interface is. Most of these points you might have received a update on it already on the WhatsApp with messages from Pulkit sir. Other than that, you will also get a follow-up call from our end explaining you the resources if that is already done for you, I think, for some of you. But in any case, let me very briefly explain some of it over here. Once you log on to the app, so you need to download KP Gate Classes mobile app, and once you sign into it, this is the home page you will have. You will have home, batches, store, and chats. So you can select the batches first. So if you select batches, the second one over here at the bottom, batches. Once you select batches, you will have Gate 2027. One folder will be visible, Gate 2027. You'll have all the practice sheets. The faculty, after every class, they will share some practice sheets that will be uploaded in the batches tab. So remember that once you open the phone, you'll get habituated to it. In the beginning, you just need to remember, go to batches, open the folder Gate 2027, you'll get the practice sheet for the subject for the class which is completed in that folder. Other than that, the remaining resources, the recorded backup, the test series, everything is accessible in the store tab. The next option or button you have, that is store. If you go to store, you will already have a display of a purchased course. You need not purchase it as such from your end. Gate 2027 will already be displayed once you enroll into the program. You will find in the purchased course Gate 2027 over here. You can open that. Once you open that or click on start learning, once you open this purchased course, this display comes first. So an overview of Gate 2027 is written, which is not very relevant in your preparation or useful for you. It is for someone who is exploring to purchase it. So you can select, you need to go to content tab in this. So go to store, then go to the purchased course, which is Gate 2027, and then you need to select content, the second button. Once you select content, you will have the upcoming schedule. The upcoming schedule for next 2 weeks will be uploaded there generally. So 2 weeks of schedule will be available, which will be updated always. And then you will have a folder for the books, all the study material books in digital format. You can access them in this folder. The test series with already 130 plus tests are uploaded there. Mock tests will be uploaded later on when the time comes. Once you're towards the end of your preparation, last 2 months, you'll get mocks also in this folder. So that's the test series portal or test series folder. Lastly, you will have the recorded lecture folder. All the lectures, including today's session, whatever session or lecture is completed, recorded session of that will be uploaded into this folder, which you can access till the examination. Any number of times you can watch the lectures. So that's how you can access. You can access all these resources on your computer as well. How to exactly access it on computer, what link, which website to use, all that you might have already got a message from our end on WhatsApp already. You can check out that. If you have any further doubt, you can always reach out to us. That's one set of resources, the digital resources through app and the learning portal on the computer. Other than that, you will have the set of 10 books along with in cards. This will be delivered to you. The physical set of books will be delivered to you if you have opted for that, which covers the entire syllabus, including common part, architecture part, and planning part. In cards basically is a smart learning tool wherein you can memorize things. In the GATE exam, there are some things which you need to memorize, like architects and the works, botanical names of plants, landscape types and features, like features of Chinese garden, Japanese garden, so on. They'll ask questions on all these points in the GATE exam. Standards, what is the width of a door so that a wheelchair can pass through it? What is the slope of a ramp so that a wheelchair person can easily access it? There are standards for these from National Building Code. All those standards also, whatever you need to memorize, are included in the set of cards. So in how to use it, we will discuss about it sometime in the lecture. So the faculty will guide you through it. I personally will also talk about how to effectively use the in cards for your preparation later on someday in the class. But for now, remember that you will get this resource also. And in broad terms, you need to study one card every day. That's how it is. So one card every day. In 5 months, you will be done with the complete set of memory cards and you'll learn a lot of things. Study material books. Every book is also embedded with QR codes for a lot of crucial and important topics. You can just use your mobile, scan the QR code, and you'll get the explanation of that subject or that topic. Not every page, but wherever something is crucial, you'll have an embedded QR code. And something is important, it will be highlighted in a box. Something is important, it will be given in bullet points. So it is all structured in a way that you can uh, you can familiarize yourself with the subject and remember what is important. Last but not least, the result. Have faith in the approach, have faith on the resources. Lot of toppers, including the 10 toppers in top 20 ranks in 2025. The last time we are hoping the same result in 2026 also. 2025 we had 10 students, in fact it is 11, because later on one more student who is a repeated student got top 20 ranks. So there were 11 students of KP class in top 20, which is a very huge number. That said, there were multiple first rankers. You can check out the interviews of a lot of those people and their experience already on a YouTube channel. So in nutshell, I wanted to tell you that have faith in the process. All these students also started from where you are right now. They started exactly at this point of time. They started exactly with the same resources, with the same faculty. So make sure that you have faith in the process and give your dedication. That's the key. You have to maintain uniformity and give your dedication. That's important. Any further doubts you have, you can reach out to us on the WhatsApp number 9560 and our counselors will reach out to you at the earliest whenever they can for your query. Uh, Faculty doubts number is a separate number which is already shared with you probably on WhatsApp. If you have any further questions, you can ask me. Any doubts? I think I told you about the B1, B2 thing. I'll explain. Okay, let me answer that also. Meanwhile, if you have any further questions, put it into the chat. So basically, B1 is architecture part, B2 is planning part. If you want to do M plan, you can select anything. It's not like if you select B1, you have to do MArch only. There's no such rule. You can get into M plan even by selecting architecture part. You can get into architecture MArch by selecting planning part also. In general, at least at this point of time, there is no rule that you have to select only this to do MArch. You have to select only this to do M plan. There's one exception for this rule. That is MArch at IIT Kharagpur. At IIT Kharagpur, MArch was introduced around 4 years ago, I think. So there it is mandatory that you select B1. If you want to do MArch in IIT Kharagpur, you have to select architecture part only. If you select planning part, you're not eligible. That's the only exception. For any other MArch, for any other M plan, you can select any one. This will be mentioned in the scorecard. So basically, how will they know which part you attempted? When you get the scorecard, it will be written which part you attempted. So at this point of time, at least there is no rule what to select for MArch, what to select for MPLA. Exception, I told you, IIT Kharagpur's MArch is an exception. They have sustainable architecture. For that, B1 is mandatory. Any further questions you have? I think that's all from my end for today for the introduction. If you have any doubts, I hope I explained you the basics of the exam, basics of the course, what to expect. Anything I missed? Anything you want to ask? Hope no. Everything clear? Chalo, I hope you can start. Your next lecture is scheduled for the upcoming Thursday. At this point of time, the classes are scheduled every Monday and Thursday from 7:30 to 9:30. Make yourself available. Don't miss the live classes. Don't rely on recorded lectures. Attend the live lectures. Uh, and try to cover the entire syllabus, all the subjects. Uh, we will again have a discussion on strategy, what to leave, what not to leave, what to emphasize on. All those things we will talk about it in the course whenever time comes at relevant points of time. This is just an introduction. This is just the beginning. Any doubts you have also, you can always reach out to us and we'll help you and guide you through the preparation. Chalo, thank you all for attending the lecture. Uh, the landscape subject will be not taken by me. So whenever my next subject is scheduled, I think it will be scheduled after a couple of days. Uh, so when my next subject is scheduled, we'll meet again. Uh, Till then, all the best for your preparation.